Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to What's on the Playlist today. Today I want to talk about Southern Culture on the Skids, the album For Lovers Only, an image of which you will see here. I think I've mentioned in the past that ordinarily when I start reviewing a band, I like to start with their first album. This is not their first album, but I can't get a hold of their first album. So we're starting here. This is actually their third album. Is that Rick Miller? Yes, band was started by Rick Miller. um, he's from like North Carolina. Not his first band, but the first iteration of the first album had a different lineup than what eventually became here. Nothing really bad happened. They just kind of disagreed on where the band was supposed to go. The female vocalist left, drummer left. Rick Miller then recruited Mary Huff, who knew Dave Hartman as a drummer, and brought him in. Their early albums are kind of rough. Doesn't mean they're bad. A lot of bands, I actually prefer their first rougher material than the more polished stuff. Southern Culture on the Skids, they got the name of the band. They were listing him and Rick Miller, whatever his name is. He was listening to a college radio station with a friend of his, and they were playing an REM song. And the DJ said REM was like the new song of the South. And he was like, if REM's the new song of the South, I preferred it when we were on the Skids. So that's how I got the name of the band. Describing their music is actually kind of difficult because they don't really stick to one particular style 100% of the time. I think they've been described as like rockabilly, but they've also been called swamp rock. I've heard that term described to them before. I think that's a good, accurate term. They glorify Southern white trash. They really, really do. But in a good way. They're not making fun of other people. It comes across very clear that they're making fun of themselves. They view themselves as Southern white trash, and they're singing about it, and they're just having a good old time doing it. The album's got For Lovers Only, Biscuit Eater, Barnyard Ballbuster, Nashville Toupee, Fat Man's Twist, Skunk, Sheik's Walk, Wish I Was in Love, Daddy Was a Preacher, Mama Was a Go-Go Girl, King of the Mountain, The Man That Wrestles the Bear, Link's Lung, Clyde's Lament, and For Lovers Only Reprise. That's the track list of this album. I don't normally list them out like that, but I kind of think it was necessary because the music style does vary quite a lot. And because I did actually play through the album before, had it in my headphones, listen, while I was working at my desk, just so I could kind of accurately talk about this better than I usually do. Some of these songs are mostly instrumental. For Lovers Only, Sheik's Walk, I think Skunk, Nashville Toupee. They're not 100% instrumental, but the lyrics are either minimal or very repetitious. So there's like one verse that they just keep repeating over and over. Nashville Toupee is kind of like that, where it's just like, there's not much lyrically going on there, but it's mostly just music. For Lovers Only is like a slow, almost like a lounge song from like the old lounge days, something like some Holiday Inn band would play. King of the Mountain is more upbeat. He's got some songs in here like that sound almost like George Thorogood with that raspy guitar type of sound, that almost rock. And there's other songs that just sound like some of the old country records you used to hear back in the 50s and 60s, just with more like heavier electric guitar. And it's just fun to listen to, man. I'm not a big fan of country music. Um, I don't musically. I don't tend to crap on other musical genres. There are ones that I like. The ones I don't, I kind of like. I just don't like it. It doesn't do anything for me. And country music is one of those ones that, like, you know, more modern country. I mean, I grew up listening to stuff like Willie Nelson, Roy Clark. I used to love watching Hee Haw as I was a kid, and I loved the music. But as I grew up and my tastes changed, I kind of moved away from it more and more into like traditional rock and roll stuff. The classic rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and 90s and stuff. But I do still enjoy it from one time to time. And the fact that these guys make fun of themselves, they do not take themselves seriously at all. And this is a band my younger sister introduced me to. One of the few bands my younger sister introduced me to. And of those bands that she got me into, this is one of the ones I liked the most. And she dragged me to some of their shows. They actually did come up to Portland, Maine. I went to visit my sister, and she's like, "We're going out tonight. We're gonna go see this band." It's like, "Sure, whatever." And I got there, and these guys got up there and played their asses off. They gave it their all, and they had fun doing it. And that counts. You can feel that kind of energy when you see someone perform live. And they perform live very, very well. This album came out in 1992, so they've been putting music out for 30 years. They're physically my age, so they're still rocking. They're still touring. I checked their website. They got a tour going on this year. They're not coming up here. It's mostly North Carolina, Texas, South Carolina, that type of thing. And these guys just kick ass live. They really, really do. I do want to talk about the bassist Mary Huff, because she came on stage when I saw her live, and I've seen some videos, and she does this. She came on stage in like a short little dress, like knee-high boots, knee-high leather boots, and a beehive hairdo, and chewing bubblegum, just playing with the bass. She's a good bassist too. She's no slouch. And one of my favorite songs that the band performs is "Daddy Was a Preacher and Mama Was a Go-Go Girl." And Mary Huff provides the vocals for that. Damn, she can sing. She's no opera singer, but again, they are fun to listen to, man. I really can't think of what else to say about them. I did try looking up other people's reviews, because there's nothing on their website about this album in particular. There's no real backstory about that I could find. Just the general overall, how the band was formed, which I've already spoken about, where they got their name. I did mention that this album is a bit rough, and it is. Aside from a couple songs, it's lyrically simple. It's an earlier album. It's not as polished as some of their later stuff. This is just the three of them. The band's roster has changed over the years. These three have always been a part of it. They added a keyboardist for a few years. They've had some backup session performers, but the core of the band is still these three. I don't know if other people would appreciate this or not as much as I do, because it is out of my wheelhouse. This is not stuff I would ordinarily consider myself listening to, but they're just so much fun to listen to. And I think some of that is because I did see them live for the first time. When my sister took me to see them, I'd never heard any of their music before. And to see these people get up on stage and just crank this stuff out just really drew me in. So stuff in my collection, the stuff I'm reviewing, I'm pretty much going to highly recommend. But this is just good old country boys having a good time. Talking about food and sex and burning rubber tires and stuff like that. Because that's the topics they talk about. As always, thanks for watching. As always, my stuff is crap. And until next time, good hunting.